Ryan, thank you for coming on, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Excited for this.
What are we getting?
So I'm after a Viking woman. I've wanted it for ages. So I'm excited that you're doing it.
Appreciate that, man. How long ago was it you were on the X Factor?
2016 I was on, so 8 years ago now. It's mad.
That is a
Crazy
while.
saying 8 years ago.
How much of that show's set up? Like, there's a lot of it's got to be set up because when you started, like, not everyone gets the sort of like the fancy interview at the start. Did you have a incline that you were going to get through from the get-go?
I wouldn't say so, to be honest. I had a bit of a mad journey on the X Factor. It was I actually got through to boot camp and then I got told I was getting chucked out, basically. I didn't make it through, and then I get called back in with a group of boys, and we got told we were getting put into a band,
Right.
into like a boy band sort of thing, and we were all thinking, shit, this could be like the next One Direction. And then we auditioned and we were all like excited about it, and then we got told no. We got told we didn't seem like we were good enough, but Simon Cowell, out of everyone, he pointed to me and said, I think we missed something with you as a solo artist. And I was like, that's do you want to put me through then? Do you know what I mean? I went home, that was it. Thought that was it over. Got home and I actually applied for a job, and I was going to work in a call centre. And I got the job and I was just about to start, and I got a call, and it was producers from X Factor, and they were saying, we want to come up and do some extra filming because we're going to be showing your audition. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, let's do it. So they came up to Glasgow and they filmed me and things, and they said, oh, we're going to set the phone down in front of you because someone's going to call you. So alright, and picked up the phone, and it was Simon Cowell on the phone. And he was like, oh, we'd like to just let you know that you were brilliant, and would you ever consider auditioning again? And I said, well, yeah, obviously, like, if the opportunity comes up, I'll definitely do it. And he said, well, you won't have to because you're flying to judges' houses tomorrow.
Oh, brilliant.
So I ended up flying to Nice in France to Nicole Scherzinger's gaff. And that was kind of how I got to that point. And then from there I went through to live shows and came sixth, which was cool.
I noticed you got, I can stop laughing, you got knocked out by Honey G.
I knew you'd bring that up, eh? The G-Meister.
How did that feel?
Well, to be honest, I kind of knew it was going to happen. This is the weird part of it. Before I even performed that weekend, Louis Walsh came up to me in the corridor and he said, you're getting a bad one tonight.
Oh.
And I was like, I've not even sang yet, what you on about? And he was like, yeah, just be warned, like, you're getting like a bad one tonight. So then that put me in a bit of a downer from the get-go. And then I went out and obviously sang, and the comments were shocking. They kind of just like slated me. And then I knew when it was me and Honey G in the bottom, I was like, she's getting through, man. She's doing a Tupac song.
Oh.
I was like, it's not gonna happen. So I knew that was it. But to be honest, like, I loved the experience, but I hated the experience. It was kind of like 50-50.
Yeah.
I was young and didn't really know who I was as a person, never mind as an artist and a creative and whatever. So, it just is what it is, really, you know.
It sounds daft, but when you look at the past track record of the people that won it, you don't really want to win it. Why is it that the people that win that show never do as well? Is that something to do with like the contracts they've got written up and the lack of freedom to be able to do what they want to do? Like, what is it?
I think that's part to play in it, you know, because obviously when you win, you've already kind of signed the contract, you know. So like when you win, you've getting an album deal or whatever, but there's only a certain amount of budget they'll put into it. There's only a certain amount of promotions and things like that they'll do. And kind of it's rushed as well. Like, if you win, your album's coming out in like a month. Do you know what I mean? And it's like they're rushing to find the songs. They're not putting any like time into like creating the album. It's kind of just like, oh, here's a bunch of good songs. Let's put your name on it and put it out.
That was probably the show's ultimately their demise in the end,
Totally.
because it was just, sounds bad, but it was the crap that they were putting it for the winning artists.
Yeah, totally, 100%. I think that's what let them down. But you've had some guys that have won that have done really well, like James Arthur. And
Did he win it?
yeah, he won.
I thought he came in second.
He won, and then he kind of disappeared for a bit, and then had a big #1 in Germany with "Say You Won't Let Go" was a big song that he had.
Aye.
And then that kind of sparked him over here again, just set him off.
So see, when you were on the show, did you have it set that was you set for life for your music career? And then, like, what was your thought process when you lost?
It's a big bubble that you're in. So when we were on the live shows, we were living in a big mansion in London. Had a chef, like had people outside the house, like had press flying drones and everything, trying to like snap a picture of me and Emily. Madness. It's like, but you get sucked into it and you think like, oh, like this is it. Like I'm going to be like a superstar after this. You know what I mean? Which is, it's crazy that you can think like that. And there's no like sort of mental health support or anything when you're in there and you're in that bubble. As soon as you get let go, that's you. And you're kind of got to just fend for yourself.
Did you go into like a dark place after it?
Oh, yeah, totally. It was pretty weird. I never knew that I had like a sort of social anxiety or anything like that until after the X Factor, when I would be like in town shopping and people would be like looking at us, and they'd obviously recognise us from the show and stuff. So after that, I just kind of distanced myself and basically stopped trying to be an artist. You know, I kind of just fell into like songwriting, which is what I've always really wanted to do. So that kind of took over, and I kind of hid behind something. Didn't want to be noticed and stuff like that.
So see, with you're obviously a songwriter. What's your process for writing a song? Do you find the sort of like the melody and then create the lyrics around that, or do you come up with a story in your head and then sort of like try and create a song from that? Like, what is your process?
Yeah, I think I come from like a singer-songwriter background, so it would be me and my guitar. We'd kind of mess around with some chords, find some nice chords, and then start gibbering about with melodies, find a nice melody, and then that'll kind of give me the feeling for what I want to talk about, what I want to say, and then that's when the lyrics come. But nowadays, I'm doing a lot of sort of K-pop stuff and dance music and whatever else, so I usually work with producers. They'll send me a track, and I'll do the same with the track. I'll kind of record melodies, see whatever comes out, and then from there, get the lyrics going, and then do a full recording. That's it done.
You had a funny question for him.
Aye, so my question was, if you're writing songs for the K-pop band,
Yeah.
are you translating that, or are you writing it in English? Aye, are you writing it in English and translating it?
Yeah, so we work with Korean lyricists. So basically, it's the same way I would write for something Western, like here. But basically what they'll do is it's a really cool thing, but they don't actually they like hearing an English song, and they send it to a lyricist that doesn't speak English a lot of the time, so that they can interpret the music in their own direction, in their own way. So then they'll come up with their own concept, their own lyrics. So technically they're just kind of taking my melodies and the production and the music, and then they'll recreate the lyrics in their own way, in their own concept.
So how many streams was that you got in 2023?
Close to 1 billion. It was like 800 and something million.
That's crazy.
It's a big moment. Kind of puts everything into perspective. It's like, wow, like if I had even 1 million, in fact I'd be excited about 1 million streams, you know, and then when you see that number, it's like, wow, kind of it's making it happen, you know.
So you went from, obviously, because you went back on the X Factor and then you got booted out by Honey G, absolute legend. How soon after that did you start seeing success with your songwriting?
Wow. I was going to London basically every month from the X Factor. I kind of was just writing music, trying to build up songs, build up a catalogue. And nobody was wanting any of my songs. Nobody was interested, not even like the smaller artists. Like was kind of just like building up songs to sit on my laptop. I was doing that for 3 years.
Oh man.
Going back and forward to London. Like, obviously I got a bit of money from the X Factor tour, so that was kind of what I was living off.
Right.
Travelling back and forward to London, staying in hotels, whatever. Luckily enough, I've got family in London, so they were kind enough to let me stay a lot of the time, which is amazing. But yeah, 3 years of just grafting, and then one day, just got the biggest cut of my life, but like the biggest band in the world at the moment, BTS.
Oh.
So it was a huge moment.
That's class. So see, obviously, when you were in that sort of like 3 year period where you're living off that money, where you're just looking at your bank balance going down and down and down and saying, this is me not had my break yet.
Totally. Yeah, it was kind of like, I always had this inner thought though, and this inner belief that I was always going to make it happen. You know, I think that's important. Like, you kind of tell yourself that you already know that you've made it. You have to just kind of, it's like when you order something on Amazon. I like this saying, it's like, you order something on Amazon, you know you've already paid for it and you've got it, you're just waiting on it getting delivered.
Yeah.
So like, I always knew that it would happen. And in that 3 years, the balance was going down, but I had the belief and just kept going, and then eventually, obviously, the BTS thing came along and that changed everything.
The constant dread of having to go back to that call centre.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
I worked in a call centre once for 25 minutes. 25 minutes, and 20 of them was just trying to build up the courage to
say you're leaving?
To quit, aye. Oh, you'll be glad that you didn't end up on that path.
Nah.
Did you meet your current girlfriend on the show, or like, what was that?
Yeah, so Emily, we kind of knew each other for years before. Obviously being from Glasgow, we were on the same sort of gigging circuit.
Yeah.
So we'd always see each other at gigs and stuff, and kind of just became good friends, I guess, like seeing each other all the time at gigs. And then we actually started going out before the X Factor, about 6 months before. And the both of us at the time kind of wanted to keep it quiet because of, like, obviously fan base. You don't really want, you kind of want to come across single, if I'm being honest, for the fans.
True,
so we kind of tried to, like, not distance ourselves when we were on X Factor, but just not make it known that we were a couple. But then obviously we got quite far out with the relationship, obviously, like single solo acts. And then at Judges' Houses, they said to me, they were like, oh, we've noticed you've been kind of close with one of the girls on the show. And I was like, oh yeah, we're in a relationship, or a couple. And I don't know if that was like something that helped me get through to the live shows, to be honest, because they might have been like, oh, that's a wee story. But now we were together before it, and then still together today, so it's worked out well.
That's class. That's good. So I'm trying to think, who are some of the people that you're writing for now? Have you got any projects in the works?
I have loads of stuff, to be honest. I'm still doing a lot of K-pop stuff, so working with some of the biggest bands basically in the world at the moment. Over there, they're selling like 3 million albums, physicals, which is just like incredible compared to like the UK, where no one really buys a physical album anymore. You know,
it's
like,
a shame that.
It's mostly streaming, but over on that side of the world, the physical albums are just like super popular, and the sales are through the roof. So working with some of the biggest over there, a band called TXT,
Right.
Tomorrow Together they're called, and BTS obviously, they've stopped at the moment because some of them are doing their army service.
Oh,
You have to do the army service over there.
that's crazy.
Yeah, so loads of that. Recently I had a song with a DJ called Steve Aoki.
I've seen him, the guy that throws birthday cakes.
Yeah. So I had a song for him on his last album that just came out. And then currently working with some DJs with my own artist stuff as well.
Right.
Doing some features for some cool DJs, which is coming out in the new year. So loads of stuff happening, yeah.
So do you ever meet these people, or is it just through their management that you speak to them? How does it work?
Yeah, I've never actually met any of them, but they've sent me like signed albums and like albums with like little messages written on them. But who knows if it's actually them? Do you know what I mean?
We've got a professional forger that
Yeah.
works for them.
But yeah, no, it's I've spoke to like Steve on Instagram and stuff, and he said thanks for working on the album and things. So it's nice that they can reach out and they respect the
Show
writers that are
some
making it
appreciation,
happen.
aye.
You know.
Has there ever been a time where you've wrote a song for someone and just thought you didn't really get the sense of accomplishment from it because you didn't really hear from the artist?
You know what? I think at the start, like, I was kind of like that, and I kind of craved the attention as a writer on me. You know, it was like, oh, that's my song. But I think eventually you kind of learn that it is your job as well at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So what I'm writing is for the artist, and it becomes theirs. Obviously, I still have a part of my heart that's attached to it, but I never get too like sort of annoyed at them if they don't talk or anything like that.
So there was a period where you were
Yeah.
almost kind of jealous that they were getting all the attention and you were in the back.
A little bit, yeah. At the start, I kind of still had that little bit of the ego, like craving the attention, I guess, and wanting to be the centre of the attention. But that's kind of, since I had like my mad panic attacks and all that, that's kind of disappeared. So I'm
Did
like,
you go through like a proper bad phase like they all
yeah,
like that, eh?
it was a weird one. I think it was a massive build up of things. But about 2 years after the X Factor, I kind of had like, it was Christmas Eve actually. I was out shopping and I just got this wave of like warmth that came over me, and my ears started ringing. And I'd actually been out the night before and obviously drinking and things, and never got home till like really late, really early in the morning, I should say. Went out Christmas shopping, and then I'd never had a panic attack before, so I thought I was going to die. And I said to my mate, I was like, you need to phone an ambulance, like, I think I'm having a heart attack. But I fully believed that I was. Sat down in the shop, it disappeared, but it was still like a lingering fear that was just there all the time.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I actually never left my house for like a month. So I was just like terrified it was going to happen again. Anytime I left the house, I had this like fear of having another panic attack. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night and like these fears and all that sort of stuff. It was really weird.
And do you think that just
came out of nowhere.
Do you think that all maybe came from like bottling up the feeling that things might not be going the way that you want them to go?
I think it was like a lot of that, but also like a lot of like things that I've kind of obviously not released, like emotions and stuff that I've kind of just like pushed down inside, you know.
Yeah.
Going through the X Factor and all that experience, and then kind of coming off it, and then like not knowing where your path's going to go and things, and just getting a bit lost, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a build up of all that, and then it just exploded into chaos, and I was kind of having like depersonalisation and all that shit. I thought I was going mad. So that's kind of when I had the two options. I was like, I either let this win and go into like a really dark place with it, or start doing things to like better myself and change my path really.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when I stopped drinking, I went back on it. I've been 5 months sober now, but stopped drinking at that point, and I was doing like sort of loads of like breath work and like Wim Hof stuff, and
Yeah.
trying to just do everything I could to like get myself in a good mindset, you know.
And you were saying earlier that you felt like when you were drinking the next day or for a wee while after all, just your creative process was destroyed.
Totally. If I'd go out on a Friday or a Saturday, I wouldn't be my best self again until the Wednesday, or maybe even the Thursday, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's like one day of productivity, and then alright, cool, I feel good, let's go out and get beers. Do you know what I mean? It's the same cycle over and over again. And I had this wee voice in the back of my head always telling me to like, oh, just like give it up, like it's not doing you any favours. But then you've got that like social thing that's like, oh, you stop going out drinking, your mates are gonna like patch you and stuff like that. So that would always entice me to go back to it. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what, if that happens, then that happens. I'm doing what's best for myself, you know.
No, 100%. See, when you were on the show, did you lose friends with anyone or anything like that just out of them being jealousy, what happened? Or do you, because obviously you're in that other world, you kind of become detached from reality.
Totally.
Did you ever feel like that and you forgot to keep in contact with people yourself?
Yeah, but even like forgetting to keep in contact with like your family as well, you know, like, cause it was so hard on the show, like, I think Monday was the only day that we had like off, and that was to get your song choice for the next weekend and have some downtime, but it was constant every day, like waking up at 5 a.m, filming till 1 a.m. Like, we never really got a break. But it was the opposite of what you said there, to be honest. Like, there was people that would be coming out of the woodwork from like high school, and people that used to like slag me off and that would
Leeches.
be like, oh, he's on the X Factor, he went to my school and all this stuff, and people that we were friends with but they kind of distanced themselves from whatever, they were all coming back. You just noticed that, but I was kind of aware of it, you know. Like, not to let people in.
Did it not make you find it quite hard to trust people after that?
Yeah.
Like who wants to be pals with me for me and who wants to be pals with me for the clout?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was, well, to be honest, I was only 20 when I came off, so I still had that kind of little bit of, oh, like, everyone's like likes me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, kind of feed off that. But now looking back, I'm like, they were there for a bit, and then as soon as things started to get a little bit quieter, they distanced themselves again.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, how did that feel for you? Because obviously when you come off the show, you've got a lot of attention on you, but like, did you notice it, and how did you feel like when the sort of like attention when you're out and about kind of slowly tailored off? Like, did you notice that? How
I noticed
did that feel? Did you miss it, or was it?
It's a weird one, because you don't want to sound like a dick by going like, oh, I missed being noticed and all that, but like, at the start it was a lot. Like, when we came back from London, like just after the show, like we had like 200 people waiting for us at the train station. Like, we got the train back, they never flew us. So we got back to Glasgow Central, and there was like a bagpiper and the news and everything, and they were like letting us come home. And then from there, like going out for dinner, people would be coming up asking us for pictures, all this sort of stuff. And it was really nice, like, to be noticed, but at the same time it was kind of spiking my anxiety of being like, oh, like, everyone is looking at me and all this stuff. And then eventually you'd start to like dribble out, and no one was like saying anything, which was a good thing for me because I didn't really like it in the first place.
So you think you're better suited to being the man in the shadows now?
Totally.
And that's what they say, you want the money, not the fame.
100%. I've always said it, like, if I can just do music for a living, and do that as my job, you know, and do what I love as my job, then you've won, really. You know what I mean? As long as you're happy and you're doing what you love and you can have a living, then that's the goal.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously your girlfriend was in the show and stuff like that. What was it like for her coming off the show? Like, where did her career go, and how did she handle the fame and then the same kind of things?
Yeah, so Emily left the show and she came fourth. And then, kind of the same as me, we'd done the tour, and then after the tour, Emily, obviously her passion is to be an artist and to fully go for her dream of being a pop star, basically.
Yeah.
And she's still doing it right now, but she had a complete rebrand. So on the show her name was Emily Middlemass, and now it's Illy, so spelled I-L-I.
Alright.
And she's doing amazing at the moment. She's releasing her debut EP soon, I think, and then not her debut, her second EP, and she's doing her first headline tour
Brilliant.
of the UK in the new year. And she's got a lot of record labels that are really interested in her at the moment, offering her deals and loads of stuff happening. So she's never gave up in her dream, and she's starting to come through now.
So are most of her songs, are they songs that she's written herself, and do you help her with it?
So Emily's a great writer as well. We've always kind of, I think that's what drew us together. Like, she was always a great songwriter as well, and kind of bonded over that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she writes I've wrote our next single coming out, me and her wrote that together.
Brilliant.
And she works with loads of amazing talented guys as well, in London and all over the place, really. So yeah.
That's class. So see, obviously, when you write a song, like how does it work? Do you approach these people with your tracks, or do they, like, how does it work? Have you got like a management team that will reach out to all these people?
So I have I'm published. So I have a publisher that basically they have offices in every country in the world.
Right.
So I obviously do a lot of Korean stuff. So I work very closely with my publisher in Korea. Where I basically work Monday to Friday doing sessions like every day. So at the end of the week I've got like 5 new songs.
Every single week?
Yeah. It's a bit intense, but kind of got the formula for it now. So
what was it like? Because obviously you didn't have that formula for the get-go. Like when you hit a writer's block, what was that like?
Totally. I would force myself with writer's block at the start. First couple of years of doing it, I'd be in London and I'd be like freaking out going to the studio because I'm like, I don't have any inspiration today. Like I don't even want to do this today. Like, but you have to because it's booked in and you're going there and you need to show that you're good enough to be in this game. You know what I mean? So when I was in the studio session, I'd kind of force it, and that's when you get less of quality. And I feel like now I can understand that, and yeah, I might have sessions booked in and stuff, but to be honest, I do have a formula for it now, so it's kind of like I go in and I just know what I'm doing straight away.
You've got the ingredients.
Yeah.
You just make up anything that you want now.
Totally. As long as the track that I'm working with is inspiring, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll get a really bad track sent to me, and I'm like, this is like torture, try to write something to. I'll still get it done, but I won't like it, and it'll probably just be like a wasted day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then other days, like, you'll get a track that's so inspiring, and that'll be the one that ends up getting taken by an artist, and then it makes it worthwhile, you know?
So it sounds like a collaborative sort of like thing, where people will send you something to work from.
Yeah.
Do you ever like work completely from scratch yourself?
Yeah, most of my sort of best songs, actually the one that I wrote for Steve Aoki, I started that at like 3 AM in my bedroom, just sitting with my guitar, because I couldn't sleep, and I was like, I had this melody in my head, and just started writing with my guitar, and laid it down and had a session the next day with a producer, and I said, this is a wee idea I've got. There's a guy called James Lewis, a guy in LA called Carol Ryden, we were on Zoom.
Right.
And I sent them the chords and we started writing to this track, and then it got taken by Steve Aoki, which was cool.
That's class. So how does it work? Like, so you get paid per listen, or do you just get paid for like writing the song? Like, how does that work? I mean, I know
So
up here.
this is a bit of a weird one. So we get, as a writer, you get your publishing royalties, which is basically, you can get your mechanicals, you can get your syncs, and you can get your PRS is basically a collecting society. So you get like paid 4 times a year.
Right.
And it's like chunks, but you never really know what you're going to get paid. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like a guessing game. But obviously my publisher as well, I signed a publishing deal, so I got paid in advance.
Right.
So I'll get a chunk of money up front. And then that's like recoupable. So any royalties that get made basically goes towards that, like recouping that advance. And then once you've recouped it, then you get a percentage of all the money that comes through, which is decent.
Nice.
That's why you need a good lawyer. Make sure you're not signing any dodgy deals.
Did that take like quite a long time to set up when you first passed the X Factor, or did you just try and wing it yourself for a wee while?
Yeah, I kind of was winging it for myself for a bit. I was with the management when I left the show, which never really worked out.
Did you have to find that management yourself, or did they?
They approached me actually. I had known them for a while, but they were the only ones that really seemed interested in my writing at the time.
Oh, right.
Everyone else kind of wanted me to be an artist, and I wasn't really into that. But after a few months with those guys, it never really worked out, so I left them and went with a friend who actually I'd known for years, Kieran, his name is.
Right.
And he was managing me for a good few years, and we started doing a lot more dance music. I was releasing with DJs and things, and I signed my publishing deal with Kieran as well, which was great. So we've kind of worked together for a few years, and now I'm managing myself at the moment.
Oh, perfect.
So kind of think I've got that business head on me where I can deal with all that stuff now.
Well, you probably have a lot more time to sort of be a businessman when you're no the frontman for all the songs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. That's the thing with Emily. Like, Emily's writing for other artists, but she's also doing her own artist project. So there's not much time to deal with all that stuff. So she needs to have someone to like look over emails and figure out all the money problems and all that sort of stuff. You know?
Yeah. No, that's class. So see, like, back to the X Factor, did you have to pre-audition for that show? Surely you didn't just turn up on the day.
Yeah, so I was actually, Capital FM,
Yeah.
the radio show. So before the X Factor, I won this competition to play at Wembley Stadium. So I opened up for like Ariana Grande and
Oh, whoa.
Jonas Brothers, and it was the summertime ball. So I was the opening act. I won this competition to be the opening act. So from there, I kind of got a big bit of like a kickstart, if you know what I mean. And then I got like approached by a sort of scout from the X Factor.
Oh.
And they were like, "Oh, we really sort of love what you've done, what you're doing, and we'd love you to come on the show or to audition for the show."
Aye.
But I still had to go down in front of the producers, so it wasn't the judges. It was in front of producers, and they filmed the audition. And then you had to go away home and basically just wait it off and for a few months. And then I got a phone call saying that they wanted me to go for a judges audition. So it was in Edinburgh, so went through for that. Yeah.
So do you think when after that pre-audition, they've already seen that pre-audition and they know kind of what they're going to say when they see you, or is it, how authentic is it?
I think it's manipulated in a sense, like especially when you get to the live shows. I feel like they start to manipulate. As I said, the night when I got told I was getting a bad one, before I'd even sang. So I feel like the judges' comments and stuff can have a big impact on how the votes go.
Right.
If you know what I mean. I don't think it's fixed or anything. I just think it's highly manipulated.
Yeah.
They know how to work the audience, I guess.
Yeah. What were they like to work with, like Simon Cowell, Louis, and who else was on it?
So my judge was Nicole Scherzinger.
Did you work with her quite a lot, or was it just every now and then?
Yeah, like kind of every now and then. I would see her a few times a week. She was actually really cool, really nice girl. She worked with us well and kind of would sit down with us during the week and discuss like what we were going to do this week, like what was the song choice, like she kind of went into depth with it. But we never saw a crazy amount, it was only for like an hour at a time or whatever.
No, that's not bad. That's not too bad then.
Simon was cool. Is
he actually an alright guy?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. He actually does a lot for charity, and especially in the show. He would always come out and he would invite kids from like the London Children's Hospital and stuff, and they would come down and he would meet with them. And
oh, brilliant.
To be fair though, he smoked in the studio, so he'd just walk about with a fag, and like there was like no smoking signs everywhere. But he just paid it. That was like something we found out. He just pays off his smoking fines like at the end of the week or whatever.
That's the same way, like, so see, I've been backstage with Machine Gun Kelly tattooing all their boys and stuff like that.
Nice.
And they're genuinely, there's no smoking signs everywhere. They're just walking about with joints left, right and centre. And it's like, do you think they just get billed at the end of it?
Well, I don't know.
Because you can't say to them, no, you can't smoke in here, mate. They'll just be like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll go elsewhere, mate.
They'll just do it, yeah. I don't know. I feel like, supposedly that's what one of the producers said to me. Like he just pays this like bill. He pays a little bit extra for the studio, and that's it. But who knows, man? He's got the power. He can do what he wants,
No, well, that's it exactly. Is there anyone that you're looking forward to working with down the line?
A few people, to be honest. I'm looking forward to getting back out to LA. A few writers over there that I really want to work with. And I've got a few people on my sort of dream list of working with, like some of the guys that I'm hopefully one day I'll be working with, like Ryan Tedder, and this guy called John Bellion.
Right.
He's like incredible. He's doing everything at the moment. Any any hit that you hear on the radio, his name's on it.
Oh, he's
amazing
a
producer.
writer.
Yeah, well, he's an artist as well, but mostly he done all of Justin Bieber's new album.
Oh shit.
Like produced it all, and he's done loads of different. He's a big pop guy, but he's incredible. So fingers crossed one day that happens.
That's class. What kind of music do you listen to then? Is it different to what you produce, or?
Yeah, this is another reason why it's hard for me to be an artist, because I listen to everything.
Right.
I'll go from like AC/DC to like the Jonas Brothers. Do you know what I mean? It's like such a wide variety for me. I grew up listening to like Michael Jackson and like Stevie Wonder and things like that, and then I'd go to like Shania Twain, you know, and then now I'm doing K-pop, and I love country, and I love rock and hip hop, and it's just all over the board. So for me as a writer, I get to kind of dabble in all of those genres, you know. And I'm in the studio, especially doing K-pop, can take
That's
little
a
bits of
random
everything.
one, eh?
Yeah. So it's like little influences from listening to things from my full life that I can use. It's like a toolkit.
You see the conspiracy theory that Stevie Wonder isn't actually blind? I'm telling you, man. Like, see, when you watch footage, he actually walks up to people on stage, he shakes a hand. Like, I'm like, maybe you should just pretend you're blind, man, if you want to make it as an artist again. But I definitely, like, when you watch it, man, there's some ground to it.
We're talking about it on Leonard. Paul Craig brought it up, and we watched the video. The mic stand falls and he catches it.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Like, there's no way, like, your hearing is that good, like, you know, when you're like Daredevil or something like that.
Sense.
Maybe that's how he lost his vision, man, like, crashed into like a barrel of chemicals and just... But no, it's class. So what's the future hold for you, man? Like, what's your plans going forward? Just more or less the same? Or?
More of the same, man, yeah, like loads more writing, hopefully just bigger and better. Got like a little cutout of a Grammy award in my room that I look at every day. That's like my go-to thing. I'm like, biggest goal is like, to get something like that. So more of the same, bigger and better, keep growing. Hopefully hit over 1 billion next year, 1 billion streams.
That's insane.
And yeah, I'm like, personal life, like we're buying a house and stuff like that next year, and finally with moving in with family and getting married and things as well. So yeah, the future looks good, looks nice and bright.
Class. And before we finish up, have you got anything to say to Honey G for booting you off the show?
I hope you're well, man. I hope you're good.
You're a nicer person than me.
Thanks for booting me off, actually. Thanks for getting me off that early.
That's class. No, I think that's perfect for that. But thank you very much for coming on, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll get this tattoo wrapped up, and I'll put a sort of like video montage at the end. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Shines one step away. Find a way to make a move and maybe find you Olay. I'm in France, I'm in Olay. Let me know fast. She need be Paris, no Paris. I'm always on my terrace.